In the last class, we have seen the problem of Champaran, the problem of the sharecroppers. And we have understood that for what purpose Gandhi had come over there. For what purpose Gandhi had come over there. That is why Gandhi landed in Champaran. Next, you see, he began by trying to get the facts. First, he visited the secretary of the British Landlords Association. The secretary told him that they could give no information to an outsider. Underline, no information to an outsider. Outsider. Its meaning will come later. Gandhi answered that he was not an outsider. Underline. So as soon as Gandhi landed, reached the place, he didn't begin anything all on a sudden. He started to collect the data because he had only the information what Rajkumar Shukla told him. But Gandhi tried to collect all the information from various ways. So first of all, he went to the British Landlords Association secretary, the secretary of the British Landlords Association. This is a problem of landlords. So he went there. So when he reached there, he told, we cannot give such kind of information because you are an outsider. Who is the insider? Insider is the British people who have the land. And you are an outsider. To him, Gandhi told him, hey, mister, don't call me an outsider. I am the citizen of India. I am not an outsider. That is the beginning of his fight. The beginning, the starting point, the first step of his fight is this sentence. He spoke to the British people that I am not an outsider. He showed the courage to speak against the British people. The first step towards his fight. Next, Gandhi called on means visited the British official commissioner of the Tirhat division. So village, then tahsils, then commissionaries. So he went to the commissioner of Tirhat, in which Champaran district lay. So according to the North Indian system, there will be villages. Villages will be in a district, and 2, 3, 4 districts together will be made a commissionary. So there will be a commissioner. The commissioner, Gandhi says, proceeded to bully me, make me afraid, bully me, and advised me forthwith to leave Tirhat. The commissioner is an IAS officer. He is a great officer. Great powers in his hands. He is the head of 3, 4 districts. So 3, 4 SPs, district SPs will be there. 3, 4 IAS collectors will be under him. So he is above. So he has great power in his hand. So he does not know who is Gandhi. He called Gandhi, hey man, it is better to leave the place. It is better to leave the place. So the secretary told, you are an outsider, so we cannot give the content of the landlords. The commissioner said, it is better to leave Tirhat, leave Champaran. Gandhi did not leave. Instead, he proceeded to Motihari, the capital of Champaran. Gandhi didn't return. Gandhi didn't leave Champaran. Instead, he went to Motihari, underline. He went to Motihari, the capital of Champaran. Please switch on the videos. Otherwise, you exit from the platform. Switch on the videos. Anna, Sharon, Donna, Mehak, Ashwin, all of you, switch on the videos. So, several lawyers accompanied him. At the railway station, a vast multitude greeted Gandhi. So when he reached Motihari, a large crowd came there to greet him. He went to a house and using it as headquarters, he went to a house and he made the place as headquarters of his work, continued his investigations. A report came in that a peasant had been maltreated in a nearby village. So in Motihari, he was living in a house. While living there, by staying there, he was collecting all the data from various places about the problems of the sharecroppers. While he was there, he got an information that a poor peasant, poor farmer was maltreated, ill-treated in a nearby village. Gandhi decided to go and visit him. The next morning, he started out on the back of an elephant. So in order to visit that peasant, he went by sitting on an elephant. He had not proceeded far. He just started. He did not travel far distance. By that time, the police superintendent, see the spelling superintendent, short form SP, superintendent of police, SP. So, when the police superintendent's messenger overtook him and ordered him to return to town in his carriage. So the police van, the police jeep stopped the elephant and told Gandhi, go back and reach town and meet police superintendent. Gandhi complied. Gandhi first he told, I want to go and visit that person. The messenger drove Gandhi home, where he served him with an official notice to quit Champaran immediately. So he took Gandhi back home and gave him a letter. The letter contained the order to return or leave Champaran. Next you see, underline, official notice to quit Champaran immediately. That was the content of the letter. To the letter, Shivani, Nidhi, Anthony, switch on the videos. Shivani, Nidhi, Anthony. Should I tell each and everyone to switch on? Nia, you are in the hostel. Why can't you open the videos? Meenakshi? Gandhi signed a receipt. Receipt means as received. He signed, received for the notice and wrote on it that he would disobey the order. Underline. He signed the letter. I have received the letter, he signed. He wrote one more sentence. I have received the letter, but I will not leave Champaran. He wrote there. I am not going to leave Champaran. Then he signed there. In consequence, as a result, Gandhi received a summons. Summons there, it is a singular. Summons is noun there. What does it mean? It is a letter from the call from the magistrate, a call from the court. That letter from the letter or call from the court is known as summons. That is a noun form, summons. So he received a summons to appear in court next day. The magistrate sent a summons to him and asked him to appear before the court next day. All night Gandhi remained awake, like you people. You people don't sleep at night, isn't it? You are doing your work, you are studying at night, isn't it? Like you, Gandhi also did not sleep. He was making the plans because next day he has to go to the court. He does not know what all things will happen. So he was making his plan. Meenakshi, Malavika, switch on the videos. He telegraphed Rajendra Prasad, who was a senior advocate, to come from Bihar for his help with the influential friends. So he sent a message to Rajendra Prasad and asked him to come to Champaran with some more people so that he may get a support. He sent instructions to the ashram also. He wired a full report to the viceroy. Wired here means send a message, send a telegram. Morning found the town Motihari black with the peasants. Underline, it's a usage. Motihari was black with the peasants. What do you mean by black with the peasants? Evelyn, what do you mean by black with the peasants? If I say black with the body is black with the holes, then I can understand. There are some people who are not prepared to show their face on the board because they have not yet taken the bath. They have not yet combed their hair. They have not dressed properly. So maybe the reason. So that I can understand. The body is with the black. Here it is told, you see, Motihari town is black with the peasants. That means all the peasants, all the farmers were black in color like Negroes and Kapiris. Sharon, what does it mean? Motihari town is fully black with the peasants. Oh, they might have worn black dress. That means if you take an aerial photo, you will see thickly jammed human beings and their black heads. That means thickly crowded. The town was thickly crowded with people. That's the meaning. They did not know Gandhi's record in South Africa. These people did not know who was Gandhi. What did he do in South Africa? They never knew. What did they knew? They had merely heard. Notice it. They had merely heard that a Mahatma who wanted to help them was in trouble with the authorities. Underline, this is the only thing they know. They heard that there was a Mahatma, there was a great man. At that time, Gandhi was not called as Mahatma. Here, Mahatma means an important person, a great soul, a great man. A great man had come to Champaran and he came to help us in our problems. And now what happened? He is in trouble. So we have to go and help. This only they knew. They have not seen Gandhi. They do not know anything about Gandhi. and he is in trouble. So they came to help him. Their spontaneous demonstration in thousands around the courthouse was the beginning of their liberation from fear of the British. Underline. So you see, nobody called them. Nobody called them. Their spontaneous gathering. Their spontaneous gathering. They came by themselves without any call, without any invitation. They came spontaneously. And this gathering was the beginning of their freedom from the fear of the British. That is liberation. The Champaran peasants had never enjoyed freedom. They were like slaves. They were like slaves. What the landlords say, that is a thing to be done. These poor peasants never asked anything to the landlords. They have to obey blindly. That was a condition. And it is told that this gathering, this voluntary gathering, is the beginning of their freedom struggle, their freedom from the clutches of British people. In another way, this is the first event of the freedom struggle in Champaran. In a large way, in a wide range, we can say this is the beginning of freedom struggle of India. So here Gandhi was considered as the Mahatma, the great soul. Mahatma means Maha-Atma, great soul, great man. So, you see, this spontaneous demonstration, here spontaneous demonstration means spontaneous gathering, in thousands around the courthouse, was the beginning of their liberation from fear of the British. Not freedom. First of all, they should be free from the fear. They are afraid of the British people. Because if they speak against the landlords, British landlords would use thuds and they would suppress them. So from this fear, first of all, they have to be free. When you are free from fear, then there will be the blossom of courage. Wherever fear is there, courage will not come up. So first of all, we have to be free from fear. The officials felt powerless. You see, officials felt powerless without Gandhi's cooperation. British policemen, British court authorities became helpless. They were unable to do anything without the help of Gandhi. If Gandhi says, see, Gauri, if Gandhi says, be calm, the thousands of people will be calm. If the British policeman says, be calm, they will call out Inqilab. They will speak slogans. So the British authorities realized that without the help of Gandhi, they cannot control this mob. Rather than crowd, we can say mob. He helped them regulate the crowds. Gandhi told the police officials, don't worry, you don't worry, I will control these people. He guaranteed the policemen to regulate, to control the crowd. He was polite and friendly. Gandhi was polite and friendly. He was giving them concrete proof. Underline. Gandhi was giving them concrete proof. Pakka proof. Pakka proof. Concrete proof that their might means power of the British. Understand in that sense, their might, power of the British, hitherto, today onwards, dreaded, hitherto up to today, dreaded and unquestioned. You see, my dear British police, till today, you were unquestioned. Not an Indian questioned you. Unquestioned. And your power is dreaded, fearful. Indians were afraid of you. See how Gandhi says, my dear policemen, till today, Indians were afraid of you. Not a single Indian argued against you, spoke against you, questioned you. But remember, mind, remember, from today onwards, your might, their might, that means your might could be challenged by Indians. You are going to see another side of the coin. You are going to see the other side of Indians. Today onwards, we are going to question you. Till today, you were the unquestioned authority. Now you are going to face our challenges. This was a warning given to the British authorities. Clear now? That is why it is told this Champaran gathering is the first, is the beginning of Indian freedom fight. It is the beginning where Champaran peasants forgot fear and they realized their might and courage. Write it and keep it with you. The poor peasants of Champaran forgot their fear, forgot their fear and realized their power, realized their might, realized their courage within them. So they began to question, the unquestioned British power. You see, in this way you have to write it. They questioned the unquestioned power of the British. This is the beginning of freedom fight. The government was baffled. Baffled here means confused. They did not know what to do. They were in trouble. The prosecutor is the government pleader, government advocate. Prosecutor requested the judge to postpone the trial. Apparently, the authorities wished to consult their superiors. So government pleader, government advocate met the judge and told, your honorable judge, don't make any judgment now, because this is not a crowd, this is a mob, uncontrollable crowd. If you make any judgment against Gandhi, these people may create a riot. and we will not be able to control it. So kindly postpone. And what will happen? These people may disperse. The same thing what had happened in North India, isn't it? For last 1 year, the farmers, here also farmers, there also farmers. Farmers began their protests, hunger strike, and no government replied. Government thought that these people will be in the cold, in the winter, some may die, and by themselves they will disperse. But the farmers from Punjab and Haryana and Uttar Pradesh did not disperse. They fought courageously. After 1 year, what had happened? The government had bent their head. The same way here, the illiterate Rajkumar Shuklas, the illiterate Rajkumar Shuklas, the poor peasants, the poor farmers gathered together and they became a force. They became a force. And British people realized it. So they wanted to postpone the judgment so that the people may disperse themselves. Gandhi protested against the delay. When they began to postpone the judgment, Gandhi went up there and told, hey, Mr. Judge, why are you postponing? Judge, send me to jail. No problem. I am ready. I am ready to face anything. You don't postpone. I want the reply now itself. Gandhi protested the delay. He read a statement pleading guilty. He told, I am guilty. I am punishable because you told me to go out of Tirhat. You told me to go out of Champaran, and I did not obey your order. So I am guilty. So I am punishable. You may give an order to punish me. He was involved, he told the court, in a conflict of duties. He told, I am involved in a conflict of duties. Underline, conflict of duties. I am troubled. When I think in front of me, there are two duties. You might be remembering class 10. Class 10 is over, sir, 2 years ago. Without writing, even writing the examination, we have passed. Why should we remember those lessons? Nelson Mandela, do you remember? He had the conflict of duties. Do you remember the twin obligations? Yeah, but twin obligations. My obligation towards my family, my obligation towards the society. If I want to fulfill my obligation towards my wife and children, I have to forget the society. If I want to fulfill my obligation towards my society, I should forget my family. Two obligations, he was in trouble. At last, after all, a conflict of duties, he had chosen his obligation towards the society. Gautama Buddha, he had the conflict of principles. People are suffering in the world, and the royal princes are suffering and not suffering, enjoying the world. How can this suffering can be overcome? He took the choice, I will leave my family and I will go for enlightenment. In the same way, Gandhi had the conflict of duties. One, Should I attend very carefully? This is the point. It's a question. The conflict of duties of Gandhi. Should I be a lawbreaker? That's the one thing. Should I be a lawbreaker? Because when I live under the British authority, it is my duty to obey British laws. I am, as a living under the British authority, British government, as a responsible citizen, I should obey the rules and regulations of British government. And on the other side, the poor people of India are struggling. They are living like slaves. I have to save them. I have to help them. So, if I want to save the poor people, I should speak against the British people. Clear now? If I want to save these poor people, I should speak against the British laws. I should break the law. So, only becoming a lawbreaker, I can save the society. If I want to follow the rules and regulations and laws of the country, then these poor people will be always poor people. Slaves will be slaves. This is the conflict. Then what had happened? You see, we will finish that paragraph. On the one hand, number one, not to set a bad example as a lawbreaker. I should not become a bad example in front of the people that Gandhi is a lawbreaker. Number one. On the other hand, to render the humanitarian and national service, humanitarian service for which he had come. He had come on the basis of a humanitarian service. So he had to stand for it. He disregarded to order to live. In order to fulfill his duties towards the poor people of Champaran, he took the second choice. He considered to break the law, not to leave Tirhat, not for want of respect for lawful authority. It is not because that he wanted to disobey the authority. No, he did not want to disobey the authority. He did not want to be a lawbreaker. He did not want to be a lawbreaker. He did not want to be a bad role model, no. But he, not for want of respect. It is not because he is lacking respect for the authority, but in obedience to the higher law of our being. Underline, higher law of our being, that is conscience, manasakshi. He considered the voice of conscience. In the general term, we say voice of conscience. He considered voice of conscience higher than all laws and rules. Clear now? You also should do like that. We also should do like that. We have to hear the voice of conscience, manasakshi, the voice of manasakshi. That is above, that is considered as the voice of God. God is speaking through our conscience. So in this struggle, Gandhi said, I chose the voice of conscience. When I chose voice of conscience, I have no time to look at the rules of the society. So automatically it is broken. So to the higher law of our being, the voice of conscience, he asked the penalty due. That is what he told. Therefore, I broke the law. I did not leave Champaran. Therefore, I am guilty. Give me punishment. Clear now? So here Gandhi becomes a very good advocate. He is a bachelor. He is an advocate. By itself, he is an advocate. He studied law in UK. From he came back, then he went to South Africa. From there he came, then he entered the Indian politics. So he argued in the court, because I came here to help the poor people. When I hear the voice of conscience, I understood that it is a higher value. I have to give preference to the poor people. So I am standing with them. When I am standing with them, I have to object to you. According to your law, I am a guilty person. A guilty person must be punished. Give me punishment. The rest we will see in the next class. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.